Hello, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this is our first play session. We did a session 0 for Syllabus of Secrets, which is a variant play set for Girl by Moonlight. I love Girl by Moonlight. This is very much inspired by the Sholomonts, the Magicians, and other magical school games. This is part of the Open Hearth gaming community. You can find out more about that at openhearthgaming.com to see more about that. We're an online gaming community. We're going to have an open gaming event at the beginning of September, which is a big free open gaming weekend that we are recruiting GMs for right now and getting things set up for. As with all games on Open Hearth, we use a layered set of safety tools. So just to remind us all, we are using, of course, the X card. We have our romance matrix. We have open door. And then we have our lines, veils, and ask firsts. We have a hard line on the following topics. They're just not things we're going to be dealing with in play. Homophobia, racism, sexual assault, torture by the PCs, and transphobia. Those are topics that are off the table. And then we have a veil, meaning fade to black, or if it's mentioned, it's considered off screen for sexual content and torture. And then we have ask firsts for eye injuries and mind control on PCs, meaning that we want to check in before those kinds of things would be described or brought in as topics. So we did our character creation last week. We built our series. We know about our school on this island. We have the void outside of it. We know something of the means by which they keep our students in line through bribing them with leadership roles and with the magical bindings. Because the school does value the idea of history, does value competition, and discourages self-expression and improvisation. We have 4 orders: Akhtar, Darsksul, Malbrect, and Zaramar, that have their own symbols: dice, pearls, lamps, and lightning bolts. We talked about a vessel that you students, you special students who can see through some of the illusions, see past some of the manipulations of the school, this vessel on a vast ocean. And there are things that are out after dark. We also talked about the fact that magic, at least as they are teaching it, seems to be constructed spells passed down over generations. We'll talk more about those various things in a bit. What I want to do now, though, is have everybody give us the elevator pitch reminder of who you are, what you're about, and what your promises are. So I'm going to go across in tab character keeper order as they stand right now. Again, we'll switch this up as we go from session to session, but for the moment, let's start with our enigma. Please give us the sense of who you are and what you're about.
Sure. Yeah, I'm playing the Enigma Chaya Wilgrave, otherwise known as Midnight in her other form. Chaya is the daughter of a prominent family that has like deep ties with the school. They have all sorts of sinister machinations going on that she is not fully aware of. But as a result of one of those machinations, when she was a young girl, she was connected to the void um, in a way that gave her an alternate form that like she doesn't fully understand, um, and which everyone perceives as being completely separate from her. And one of her promises is about Mar, our guardian. The void loves Mar, and therefore so do I, but I won't pursue it for fear of drawing my family's attention to her. Um, and my other promise is to our seer. It's for Felicity's sake, I will tread lightly with Cordon's heart. I think I'm dating, or I'm in some kind of romantic dalliance with our seer's friend Corden. Of course, and that's complicated with my growing feelings for Mar, but we'll see how that goes.
Nice, nice. Excellent. Next is Mar, our guardian.
Hi everyone, I'm Dana. I'm playing Mar the Guardian. I'm the pronunciation on that one may may be a problem because I'm using the Marmara as the full name, but I think Mar is like a shorter and more easier name to pronounce in English. Um, I just skip like crashed on me, Zoom crashed on me to the at the beginning of the explanation there. So I'm not sure what we will reminding of the character.
Oh, mostly who you are, your pronouns, and what your promises are.
Right. So Marmara pronouns are she, her, and my promises are I will fall to the voice so Chaya doesn't have to, and I will share the burden from Felicity's visions.
Okay.
I think of Mara as this like very happy-go-lucky character, but also having a like a complicated background or a complicated past that makes her feels very responsible for people around her, and like she has to sacrifice herself in order for other people doesn't have to.
Yeah, and you're the guardian, so you have that honor-bound set of codes that you have to live with. Not I very, very, very cool. One of the things I do want to mention is later on, like after we've had a chance to play a little bit, we'll have a chance to like each of you to say what you think your role in the group is. It's a little bit different from the role that you kind of picked earlier on. There's an XP question that revolves around role. And so we'll have you kind of figure out what that is at the end of the session. Like what is your role? Are you the the class clown for the group? Are you the defender for the group? Those kinds of things. We're going to be continuously losing and adding people, various internets, apparently. So we'll get uh, uh, our Enigma back here, hopefully. Uh, Next is our harmony character. Chris, give us the quick rundown on your two characters.
Okay. Okay. The harmony is they're confusing. First off, you have part of the harmony is Solomon, who usually goes by Saul from Yorondo. The other part of the harmony is Nicola Tarot, who goes by Nix. Their true name is Equinox. They have a odd situation that they have to deal with in that Saul is the apparent manifestation of the harmony during the day, and Nyx is the apparent manifestation of the harmony at night, meaning that if you encounter them during the day, you'll be seeing Saul. Nyx is still present; she still hears, understands, and may speak. If she has a mind to, but the person you're actually seeing is Saul. At night, it's the opposite. And this was the result of some form of magical incident when both of their original magic manifested, and no one has really figured out exactly what happened or how it can be fixed or if it should be fixed. So the two of them seem to be okay with it for the most part. I mean, there's obviously always going to be some friction, but they seem to be okay. And as far as their promises go, they have one shared promise. They want to find out what is going on with this strange person that has been running around the school calling themselves Midnight. They want to figure out what's going on with that. Secondly, they have a conflict promise, meaning that one of them thinks one way about it, and one of them thinks another. And in that one, Saul does not trust or believe Felicity or her visions, while Nyx trusts Felicity and believes they should follow her guidance. Saul Saul is distrusted, so they have a conflict, an internal conflict about which way to go whenever Felicity shares the vision. So
Excellent. And is the flip between the two, is it sudden? Is it look away and then they're changed? Is there an effect? Like when we go from day to night, what is the shift there?
I think normally the shift is just you look one way and you look back and they've changed. If you are making an effort to watch the whole time, I think there is like a subtle, like almost like one of them sinks into water while the other one rises up out of water, kind of effect.
Yeah.
But it happens very quickly, and you have to be watching the whole time to catch that. I imagine there'll be something more special when they transcend, but we haven't gotten to that part yet.
Okay. Excellent. And last but not least, and our seer. And if you could change your name in the.
I could. It's within my skill set.
Is it? Okay.
It is. It's just that I forgot.
I know.
Okay. So my character's name is Felicity. She is the seer, which is a sort of rewrite of the time traveler class. So I do know time traveler. It's just that I can see things from the future. Most specifically, Felicity can see when something's gonna mess her up. She is incredibly good at cleaning magics. She is incredibly fastidious about herself and her close environment. She's not particularly judgy about other people, but she is always vigilant. She is a little bit obsessive, a little bit high strung, but mostly she just wants everything to be okay with everyone, which is again another tense making thing. So her obligation, the one that she feels, is that we are gonna all we're gonna get out of here. Does that make any sense?
Okay.
And I think that to her that it was not long before she was here, before she went, this is a thing that we have to survive. If that makes any sense. So her promises are that she knows that there's something about Soul Nyx that she needs to remember about them. At one point, she said something to Soul, and she can't remember what it was. Soul remembers it. She knows Soul doesn't like her, but she's kind of freaked out because she can't remember what it is. So she's trying to figure it out. And then also she wants to pull Mar out of the void, away from the void. She knows that it will consume her if she doesn't change something. And so she's trying to figure out what that is. And she's watching all the time. They do not want Mar to throw themselves into the void. They are very set on that. And I don't think that she's defined why she feels that way, if that makes any sense. It's all new to her. But yeah, she got pulled into this house by Gordon, who she traveled here with.
Okay.
So she was supposed to be in a different school, in a different house, dark school.
So one of the things we've decided is that we call the 4 groups these orders. And yours is as Akhtar, the sign is of dice. we're on an island. We have the different buildings there, the kind of a campus here with the island surrounding it and the void outside. Um, each of the orders is in their own little dormitory building. So, Marmara, tell me, like, what does this building, this dormitory, look like from the outside? Or is it a one floor? Is it a tower? Is it like looks like an old hotel? Like what does your dormitory look like from the outside?
Hmm. I like the idea of we talked before about tunnels being an important part of like our order, and like I think like there could be like a very small unassuming like uh, building, but when like actually it's a much bigger building and like but it's all hidden away or underground or things a thing like that. So I'm imagining like a quiet small thing and like a corner of the island.
Maybe the other dorms are larger, more imposing, more ornate.
Yeah.
Yours is very much, there's that concrete building that's at the edge of that. Okay. Uh, so goes down several levels. So we have these basement levels, probably entry there. Uh, Chahaya, um, what do the rooms look like? Are they like cubicles? Are they large? Are they shared spaces? Are they single rooms? Does it change from year to year, or what do we see about the rooms for uh Akhtar?
I think that for the younger students, like maybe the first and second years, they have shared rooms where it's maybe, two or three to a room. And as you like gain seniority in the school, you get to have your own single room. And of course the masked students, they got the most lavish ones.
Okay.
And
Uh
our
yeah,
I was just gonna ask, our symbol is dice, right?
yeah.
I'm
Uh
sort of imagining that there's a sort of games theme to the dormitory inside, with
okay.
maybe rooms based on tarot cards used to be used as playing cards, so
Hmm.
maybe something like that.
Okay. Absolutely. Uh, we have cards, we have those kinds of symbols. There probably are decks of tarot that are broken into those four suits with dice and lightning bolts, lamps, and pearls, with a different set of major arcana. Uh, the major arcana, uh, actually, if you look under the series sheet, you'll see under your circle, I have what the names of the 20 major arcana are for this particular deck that are different. Uh, yeah, so games, cards, dice, all of those kinds of things. Uh, Soul, uh, what what is the uh, entry to these underground tunnels that that you have? Is it like a little sub basement? Is it an elevator down to someplace? Is it a hole in a wall to some things? What do you think is there?
I kind of like the idea that there are multiple entrances and exits to the tunnel system throughout
Okay,
the dormitory.
okay,
And usually it's through like a door that's that is something fairly obvious, right? Like the door will have its particular shape. All right, and they teach you to recognize that door shape when you first arrive.
Okay.
And so that and which door opens to what part of the tunnels can change. It doesn't usually, but it can.
Okay.
And sometimes people have gotten tripped up by that, and you might come out a different place if you try to exit the tunnel from the same door you came in, and you might come out somewhere else in the dormitory. So you do have to be very cognizant of that, and everybody kind of is careful of, like, positioning things in front of the doors or doing things they don't want other people to see, like near those doors.
Okay. Felicity, uh, we've talked about before, we mentioned last time that your place, your dormitory is the most sort of decrepit, sketchy, one might even say, of the 4 dorms. But what do you have here? Is there a house mother? Is there staff? Is there a kitchenette? Like, is there a public room? Like, what do you have actually as resources here in the household?
I think that that there is a casino, and it's like staffed, and it's really not for the students to use, but you can go there and eat, and you can gamble. It's just everyone tells you it's a bad idea,
Okay.
if that makes any sense. But there are always shadows they're playing. There are always what look like people playing. You can go and talk to them. It's a disorienting experience. However, the food is remarkably good.
Okay. So you have to kind of share the space that you have for an eating area for a mess hall with this strange casino there. And it's an old school casino, so the worst part about it is it pretty much smells like cigarette smoke, layered over 60 years there. So all of you are in various classes. Some of you have a lot of your classes together. Some have individual classes that are different from one another. But we start out with seeing our group in a classroom together. Manmara, what other order is also in this classroom? Is it Zaramar, Malbrect, or Darsksul?
I think it's Malbrect.
Okay. So it is Malbrect that are in there. And let's see if anybody we know from
Lumi,
which one?
Lumi, really?
Lumi is from Malbrect. Is in there. A troublemaker, a little bit on the outs with her own fellows in that. And tell me, Chahaya, what does this classroom look like?
I think, I suppose I'm imagining a kind of alchemy class.
Mhm.
So I think it's set up almost like the sort of science classroom that you might imagine. But there are, like, long ornate wooden benches upon which we see nuggets of lead half turned to gold. We haven't quite mastered it yet.
All right. And Soul, what what has happened that has kind of interrupted the experiment phase of the the classroom? Has something intruded? Has something gone wrong? If so, what has kind of brought this phase of sort of lab work to a halt?
So I think someone accidentally basically scraped one of the binding runes, and so like a minor elemental has has kind of gotten loose.
Absolutely. Created a set of chaos, has knocked things around. There are some staff that are in here kind of cleaning things up, and they've had to move everybody to kind of bunch you up in another part of the classrooms, where you've had to scrape and drag the chairs over. They're metal chairs that, with that kind of rusty sound as you drag them from one spot to another. Tell me, Felicity, something about the instructor, who's only known as Mrs. Darkbow.
Mrs. Darkbaugh has an amazing pile of hair, like one of those updos. It's in 3 parts and it goes unnaturally high. And it is the most mesmerizingly shiny, perfect hair. It's a sort of color of red, but it has this sort of rich chestnut brown underneath it. And you think that like she should have green eyes or anything, something like that would like go with this red hair. But in fact, her face is just the most plain face that you could ever imagine. But her hair is.
I imagine that a good wisp of that hair comes down to kind of form the mask that she wears as a teacher. And she's talking, and she's saying, but since we can't perform the experiments today, I want to talk about the place of alchemy, one of the great arts in the world of magic. As you know, there are, well, the numbers vary, but let us say that there are 13 great arts. There's some debate on that point, but right-thinking people believe that there are 13. And the most right-thinking people understand that alchemy is the queen of all magics. Now, just to devolve a little, it is worth talking about the history of how we came to have these 13 arts. And it is important to know where we came from to get to here. It is in the Shenki Jishu, the Chinese original historical text, that tells us that originally there were 144 schools of magic, a wide number, an untenable number of ways of magic, and that over time there was progress, there was evolution, and there was the marriage of these arts together, becoming greater arts over time, incorporating, adapting, becoming parts of one another, a joining together, a synthesis for strength. Tell me, Felicity, you have taken your first year history of magic?
Yes, ma'am.
What is one of the names of one of the 144 schools that does not remain anymore?
Just sort of stops and she says, because every one of them that she thinks of, she's like, it still exists. So it's like, and she goes to say it. So she's like, um, heavenly vine weaving, that ladder to the celestial planes.
Heavenly Vine Weaving. Absolutely. A minor fragmentary art, one of modest power that was eventually subsumed, joined its strength into a greater, larger magic. It's important to remember these things and to know where they came from. Now, one of the things we want to remember is that the strength from our current arts, like alchemy and the others, comes from that joining together of those magics. And so practitioners who attempt to resurrect those lost arts do everyone a disservice. It is how we come to the building blocks that make up our magic today. Marmara, can you tell me what precisely went wrong with the experiment today here in class?
I think like uh, of I think Marmara is doubting because like she thinks one person specifically screw up, and she like wants to explain this in some way that involvement is not revealed without lying, because she can lie. And, and I'm gonna say I think the bindings were not strong enough to hold the elemental power.
So you're saying that the binding simply failed.
Probably there was an error in our calculations.
An, an error in whose calculations? In my calculations? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, of course not. But probably mine. I don't know.
So was it you that broke the binding?
I'm not exactly sure.
She'll pause. So, you're here with Malbrect. We know at least one of the Malbrect students who is here, Lumi. Who is the worst Malbrect? Like the most obnoxious person from their house. That is here in the classroom. That is looking at all of you from Akhtar and rolling their eyes.
Ooh, I think I think their name is Sven,
Sven, okay.
and they are hmm. Actually, how much info do you want me to provide for Sven?
It's up to you. So you can tell me
Oh.
something about them. You know, I've got a few pictures there on NPC rows that don't down towards the bottom, row 60 and across. You can take one of them, or if you have an idea for what they look like, you can tell me that.
see. I think Sven is the guy between 40 and 57 with the bird wing mask.
Oh, okay. So
Um,
an actual like student with some authority that has been given an actual mask.
Yes, and I think basically they're one of the um, more prominent Malbrechians. Is that what we call them?
Sure.
Um, that that is taking a particular dislike to our class of our house, because we are typically not the folks who are fitting in. So if any of us have masks, my guess is they are not the super ornate ones like Sven has aspired to. Like so.
I like that. Uh Chihaya, as you are sitting there, as you're seeing the teacher kind of flip back and forth from giving a lecture to maybe trying to figure out what went wrong to seeing the people from Malbrect kind of staring daggers at you. What is the message that you get from Stella? And how do you get that message?
Oh, interesting. I imagine that Chaya is sitting nearest to the wall with windows. And she's distracted, kind of watching as our teacher upbraids Marmara. But she hears this like tap tap tapping on the glass next to her, and when she turns, she sees um like a crow with uh a note in its mouth. Um, and when she like takes it quizzically from the crow, she sees the note is unmistakably in Stella's handwriting. And
Mhm.
oh, you can tell me what it
No,
says
no,
if
you
you
tell me
like.
what it says.
Okay. I think it says, what's our teacher's name again?
The teacher's name is Darkbow.
Darkbow. Um, she says Darkbow has problems greater than escaped elementals.
Interesting. I think like you kind of do you pocket the note? Does the note vanish? Like what do we see on screen of that?
I think Chaya immediately kind of furrows her brow in worry and passes the note over to whichever of our band is sitting nearest to her, maybe to Felicity.
think Felicity reads it. And you see her folded up super neatly, and it looks like the paper's never been like touched or anything. Like it's all the crumpling, all the beak wear on it, and everything is all gone. And I think she passes it to Mar. We all know Stella's handwriting by now. You've shown it to us to convince us. It's a thing that we what do you say? That it's like a thing that we rally around because we lost her and maybe we haven't, and that's the thing that we hold a lot of hope with. So I pass it on to Soul or to Mar, excuse me.
Yeah, so this note goes down to the group, and I think at that point, uh, Mrs. Darkbow will look, see that they've finished cleaning up, and will say, "Well, that's enough for today. I will dismiss class a little early because I am generous to a fault. And then she proceeds to shout out a 80-page homework reading with notes and worksheets for everyone to do. And we'll see you all file out of the classroom and heading back to the dorms.
Before we go though, can I turn back at the doorway and do a study? I wanna, like,
gather
like,
information. Yeah, absolutely.
exactly. So, yeah, so I think that is the thing, is that she stops because there is that warning, so.
What do you want to roll that with?
I want to roll that with perceive.
Okay, absolutely.
Okay, so, oh, but I haven't opened my roller yet. Hold on a second. That's 1d6, because everything's 1d6 right now. Weird. Okay, let me get out and back in. Here we go. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
A 6.
So 6, that is 2 questions.
2 questions.
And you have your list of questions from your playbook.
Oh, yeah, that's right. This is always the thing. I always surprises me that I in fact have a set. Okay, let's see here. What is already in motion here?
You will see where, as you are leaving, there is a moment where Dark Power has been standing up and very much at the desk, kind of leading all this. And kind of the second that the last of you has filed out, you will see her like collapse to the chair, like seated down, and she looks absolutely exhausted.
And I say, what might happen if I return back? Essentially,
You can tell that she will desperately try to conceal her
exhaustion.
her exhaustion and her malaise.
I think I will do it anyway.
Okay, she is up, in that quick way when somebody, suddenly shoots back up and their chair kind of screeches back. Was there something you needed, Miss Felicity?
Is there anything that I can do to help?
No, I do not think so. They've already done the cleanup.
If there's anything that you need, just say.
That will not be necessary.
Is an offer. And she will bow and leave.
Okay. And we're going to cut to the 4 of you, along with your fellow students from the year. Gordon, I know we have as another one from your class. And I think that Gordon is impressed, Mar, that you didn't give anything away and you didn't put blame on anybody when you got called out. He's like, I don't know if I could have done that. Like, she was staring daggers at you. I would have cracked.
That's not a problem. I don't think. I don't think she would have done anything to me.
I don't know. No, don't want to get on the bad side of any of these teachers.
I lost count of how many of them already had me in the bad side.
Fair enough. That is true. You are a magnet for that. And he'll turn away. And probably again, he's like, "Are you sure I can't carry your books, Chihaya?"
Oh, no, no, I'm totally fine.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. He looks a little well, like he's still trying to figure out how to work this whole thing and what he's supposed to be doing, and he's not very good at it. And he manages to look like a sad puppy when you say no, because that's just the way he is. But you arrive at your dormitory, the very simple door leading in. You come in there, the stairs down. There's the sound of the machines from the casino area, and you will see that Headmaster Nullproof is there, and he will say, "Excellent. It is the Akhtar second years and company. It is good to see all of you here, and you seem all in high spirits. Everything going well for you? Soul, Nix, which one is it that you are again?"
Uh, Soul stumbles a little bit. Saul.
Saul, Saul. Sorry, once I get a name wrong, I always get it wrong. So we'll go with what you've just said. So in any case, I wanted to come and tell you that according to the school events calendar, in 2 weeks, it is time for a semi-formal ball dance, and your number has been drawn for it. There are details in a posting downstairs, but you've been given a modest stipend to figure out a theme, decorate, decide on music, that sort of thing for the dance. This is considered a mandatory recreational activity, so I hope everyone will contribute. Doesn't that seem like fun?
Where is this dance to be held?
We have set aside the auditorium. We will clear the chairs out from it. You can use the stage if you wish to put a DJ or whatever it is that you decide to have.
Is there a theme?
Oh no, the theme is in your hands, and I expect it to be interesting, splendid, and novel, let's say. There's an old theater costume set dressing area in one of the unused. Well, we sometimes use it for plays, but you feel to raffle through that. And if there are other props or materials, crepe paper, banners, streamers, anything you want, we will get for you as long as it's not sticky.
That's important.
It's very important that I do not want anything sticky in that room. Understood? Good. There it is. And we'll tap at his mask. Again, the only full face mask in the school, and walk past you. It is weird when he walks past you, you kind of instinctively clear out of the way as he goes past.
That's advanced cleaning magics. Preventative.
So that is the event that we'll come back to at the end of this cycle of play. But we start actually in the mechanical section of this with the obligation phase, which we're going to come to in just a moment, which is where we kind of start and we do stress, and we're going to roll on that. But we are kind of at about 5 till the hour. So let's go ahead and take our first break here, come back and do the obligation, and then the downtime phase. And I'll kind of give you the preview on the mission that'll kind of shape for your downtime action. So let's take 10 for our first break, and we'll come back. And just because it has been shared with me, I will share with anyone who might be watching at home the Dark Bow's hair done up in multiple layers there. So we're going to do the obligation phase. The obligation phase is a mechanical phase in which we're going to have you roll based on your lowest attribute. And that's going to determine the stress that you have starting in. And depending on what attribute you roll with will kind of determine what kind of incident we're going to look at. So, for example, we're going to start with Chahaya. Your lowest attribute is moon because you have no dice in moon. So you will roll 2d6 and we will take the lowest. And moon is about sincerity and clarity, and we're going to roll it. And the theme of our thing is going to be despair or heartbreak.
Okay. Rolling 2 dice, taking the lowest. They're both 2s, so
They're
that
both
makes it
2.
easy.
Yeah. So you're going to mark 4 stress. What is it that you're doing when you have a just incredibly vivid and sudden memory of Stella?
I think between classes, I'm walking. Did we describe a garden or something on the school premises?
I like that. We can have a garden, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm just kind of walking between class buildings through this lush garden, and Stella used to hang out here a lot. So that's one of the reasons why I'm remembering her right now. But also, I think there's a shadow that sort of falls on me, and I look up into the trees, and I just see like this giant flock of crows all looking down on me with these gleaming eyes.
And I think it is like there's a strong memory for you that this was the last place that you saw her. You don't know what happened. You still don't, and you try to remember, and you just can't. And I think you try for a bit, and then almost as if they're disappointed that you can't break through that, those crows will lift up into the air and fly off in all directions.
Chaya says softly that she's sorry, not to the crows, but to Stella. She just has this like deep sense that there was something she could have done to save her if she was, faster or clever or something.
Excellent. Marmara, you have equal dots in all of your attributes, sun, moon, and stars. Oh no, you have two in Moon. So Sun and Stars are your two lowest. Sun is about violence and fear. Stars is about panic and social pressure. Which would you like to roll with?
Let's roll with Sun.
Okay. So roll me 1d6. 6. So you mark no stress whatsoever. When Sven comes down to do some light pushing and prodding and bullying between classes to kind of punch at you and your fellow students, what do you do? How do you dissuade them from that?
I think I will like approach him and say, "Don't you have something better to do with your time?"
Well, this is enjoyable. What would be better?
I don't know. Maybe you could like study and become a better magic practitioner or something like that.
And I think that must like hit a sore spot for him. Like that there's something about that, about his actual skill with magic, I think that will ruffle his metal and non-metal feathers there. And he'll kind of I've got things to do, and he'll wander off away, and you keep yourself level-headed there in that situation. Saul, you also have Sun and Stars as your lowest. Which one of those would you like to roll with?
Oh, if it's Saul, I'm thinking the social anxiety thing would really be his main source of stress. So
Okay,
probably Stars.
absolutely. Uh, let's have you roll a d6. So that is also a 6, if I am not misjudging that. So you will also not mark any stress. What is it though about the idea of there being a dance that like what is Saul / Nix's reaction to that as a thing?
I think the reason that this ends up being so low stress um, is that this actually puts each of them where they're most comfortable. A dance would lead to huge amounts of social anxiety for Saul because of all the different things he would have to manage trying to interact with that many people. Um, and it's almost certainly going to happen at night. So Nyx would be in her element because she is by far the one that enjoys that sort of thing the most. And so they're like surprisingly their internal harmony isn't in conflict on this. Like Saul doesn't is happy to not be the dominant, not be the dominant form at the dance, and Nyx is happy to be the dominant form at the dance. So it's
Excellent.
like it's playing to their mutual strengths, and they're just like, wow, that that worked out. Now the weird part is a lot of the planning for this will probably happen during the day, so Saul will be involved in that,
Mm-hmm.
which is again, not something he's pleased with, but he figures like the other people can kind of shoulder the creative weight. He's
Okay.
happy to do the logistics, but like creativity, improvisation, that sort of stuff, that's not his bag.
Okay. That sounds good. And Felicity, sun or stars?
Well, gosh, I think, why don't we start also with scary people? So that's sun, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 26. And I rolled a 1, so I'm here for you, Lowell. That's
So
5.
that is 5 stress that you are going to take.
I know, that is just unconscionable.
Let me think here.
I mean, the thing that makes sense is actually Mrs. Darkbaugh.
I do think that you will be called in privately by Mrs. Darkbow, and she will say, is there something going on with you and your fellow members of Akhtar?
And she goes, we're trying to get through the semester. We have to do a dance planning thing. But maybe I'm not in the right. What has prompted you to ask this question? Perhaps I could be more on target with my answer.
It's just that your class has an unusually high success rate. Usually there are a few more students who have voluntarily decided to go home, have left. But not you and your compatriots.
We're friends. It helps.
You think it will.
That's very ominous, Mrs. Darkbow.
It's just that certain things have to run smoothly. You are dismissed.
Thank you. Oh, yeah. I do think that the thing that's really disorienting then for her is when she leaves. There is this thing of like, in her vision, she can see something like paper burning and going up in ash, and she doesn't know where it's from or what it has to do. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely.
It is her having a vision that has no context
Okay.
except for this conversation.
So we go from here to downtime actions. Let me set up kind of what you will know is the thing that people are talking about that you have seen notice of. Over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, you have noticed that the people from Malbrect, a number of them have also looked exhausted, have looked tired, have seemed worn out in an unusual way. And you have been watching them, and I think it is over the last few days that you've had that thing that you know from experience is a sign that something is going on, something unusual, that the sound of their voices getting distorted, something of that. And I think that you know that something bad is coming, but you're not sure what it is yet. Does that seem fair as a kind of an ominous threat hanging over? So during downtime, you have the following actions that you can do. You can make a connection, which is your way of building up those links with other characters. These are a thing that then gets spent during the actual action phase. That gives you a benefit. You get to spend those links to cure stress or to give bonuses to rolls, those kinds of things. The next one, and it's important, is our kind of finding resources. That is our preparation. That means that your character is essentially doing schoolwork, studying, doing those kinds of things. You build on the preparation track, increases the tier of that. And you also get to ask some questions, ask some investigate questions based on your playbook to kind of figure out more about what's going on with the situation. If anyone was injured, there's also the recover, help a friend recover, which would be doing that one. And there is the long-term project. This is a catch-all, but particularly in our game, one of the long-term projects is to increase your circle. And if you look on the series sheet, there is a list of people that can be added to your circle to give an ongoing benefit. For example, if you look on row 95 on that series sheet for Syllabus of Secrets, you'll see the voice is there. It takes 4 ticks, and then you get the voice as a person in your circle, and they give a +1 die to any investigate rolls from that point forward. And so that is a long-term project that can be done for that. So let's go in a slightly different order. Felicity, would you like to do your first downtime action?
Sure. I think, let's see here. I think what I would like to do is ties are going to be so important, but we also need to have preparation. So I think that that's what I would do.
Okay.
So essentially I would roll to gather info of what we need is essentially it. Is that how you do it? What is the kind of...
for this, for that kind of preparation thing, tell me what you're doing to get the resources, or answer the questions that you need. What do you think that would be? What does that look like here in this context?
For her, well, see, do we know? Like, do we have a sense of what it is we're preparing for? Does that make any sense?
You know that
the dance, or what?
well, here's the thing: is right now you know that the dance is coming up as an event.
And
but you also,
but
you also know that, well, more importantly, that there's something going on with the Malbrect folks.
Okay. So I think that essentially, for her to do preparation means that she has to put herself in a place where she can ascertain what is going to get her dirty, if that makes any sense. Like, essentially, where is the danger? Where is the mess? where are the bad things going to happen?
Okay.
So
What does that feel like?
I think that essentially for her, that probably is going to Malbrect, essentially, and knocking on doors and asking to like borrow their notes and things like that, like just to get that sense of like where the trouble's going to
Sure.
hinge.
Does that feel like defy for your action roll?
Interesting. It could, sure.
It's up to you.
It is. You're kind of not supposed to do that, and yet people, there's really nothing to keep you from doing it. And she's a little bit spooky, so people typically don't go after her right away. The older ones would, but her old class. So if I
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
roll 1d6. This start. Okay, let's do this.
So
A 5.
that is
That's
a 5.
not horrible.
So we put 3 ticks on preparation,
Excellent.
and you get a question and a follow-up from your playbook.
Yeah. So I think from my playbook, we kind of already know what's in motion. We got that thing where because of the voices and stuff, we know that some of the people are going to be moved along as a thing. But I want to go, what is different about this group of Malbrects from the other times that we have seen this go on with people? What is the thing what's a break in the pattern?
So you can tell that they are like notably physically exhausted, and when it looks like they are worn out. You're not seeing anything like there's no bruises or injuries or anything like that, but they seem to just be involved in something that is physically exhausting them, and not just like they've been running, but like whole body exhausted. You have a follow-up on that?
Yeah. So what is really happening here that's exhausting them?
Whatever is going on, it's happening after dark, and you suspect that somebody or something is drawing them out, probably against their memory or will, out after hours for something.
Ooh, okay. So
Does that feel like a fair answer?
it feels like a fair answer. That yes.
Okay.
So something is essentially a siren calling them out and making them do something that exhausts them.
Okay.
Okay.
Chihaya, we will do your first downtime action. What would you like to do?
I'm still kind of torn, but we get to do 2, right?
You get to do 2.
I think I want to start a long-term project.
Okay.
I think since we've become aware of these mysterious events at the school, and Chaya has in turn become kind of aware of her family's connections to the darker side of the school.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's been thinking more and more about that ritual that she underwent when she was a child. And I don't think it was ever explained to her like what the actual purpose of it was, like why connect her to the void in such a way. So I think she's working on trying to figure that out. She has a feeling if she just asks, her father's not going to give her a straight answer.
That seems fair. So we could certainly do that as your means of drawing somebody into your circle. or it could be if you want to connect up that with, getting somebody else to help you and doing that as a link. There are a couple of ways that we can do that. What's your end goal with it?
Oh, the idea of doing that as a make a connection scene is interesting. Um, I do think her end goal is to discover in discover like concretely what the nature of her family's like interconnection with the school is. Um, I think she's looking for answers here.
Then it may be, yeah, it may be actually we're doing that kind of preparation, like learning things and asking questions.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
It can be a find resources.
Yeah. What do you want to, what, what action are you rolling to learn something more?
I'm imagining that there's a section of the library that's sort of technically off limits to students unless they have special permission because the books back there are really old, they're really precious. They have to do with like the history and traditions of the school.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Chaya is going to sneak back there. Um, she certainly doesn't want her name on the log of students who have uh, had permission to go back.
Okay.
So I think conceal.
Yeah, that seems fair. So roll me a d6 for that.
If Chaya were to tell the attendant that she's doing a little favor for her family, could she get an extra die from her special ability? She gets a +1 die when her mundane identity conceals her true
Ooh,
purpose.
I like that. Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay. 5.
So that is a 5. So we put 3 more ticks on the clock. 2, 2, 3. And you get a question and a follow-up. And your playbook has some questions on them.
Yeah. What does the school really want? Specifically, I guess, from its relationship to my family.
The school clearly needs to cultivate those who are connected to the void. Uh, there's a lot of that here. And there may be other families and people that have other kinds of connections to other things. And they may be parallel to you, but definitely you have the sense that when you're kind of looking up some things on the void itself, like trying to find bits and pieces, I think you will see, like, what is your family crest?
Oh, good question. It is um it's a white candle on a black on like a pitch black background.
Yeah. You will see that as, like, there are a couple of other family crests that are clearly associated with the void, though their exact relationship is not said there. And it will show you your family crest there. I think the thing that will strike you is when you look down further and says these families are antithetical to the void, and you will see a family crest that looks like a crow with gleaming eyes. That looks so familiar to you. And what is your follow-up question?
And my follow-up can be any question, or it doesn't have to be from the gather information list.
Yeah, but it should relate to the initial thing that we were asking about.
Right,
That's
right.
yeah.
Um, ooh. What other family crests do I recognize among those that are attuned to the void?
Are attuned to the void. I think that you will see that Willgrave, your cousin's family, like they're from a slightly different line, and their family crest is kind of in a different position. You're not sure exactly what it means, but there seems to be some indication of conflict. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that's very interesting. Thank you.
Okay. Uh Saul.
Um, I think I want to try to develop the circle. Is that a long-term project?
Yeah,
Is
it's
that okay?
yeah. Uh how are you making friends?
Okay, this is where it's going to get weird because we're switching over to Nix for this part of it.
Yeah. And the downtime is done over a course of a couple of things here.
So what Nix is doing is we have this weird casino where we constantly have all of these shadows that move about and like play games and stuff in the casino, right?
Okay.
Okay. Um, I think Nix wants to, if I can do this, she wants to try and develop a relationship with the weird probabilities that are going on there and try
So
to
I'm
unlock.
gonna stop you here. The
Okay.
the circle is a student in those
Okay.
first three rows.
Okay. So it does have to be a student.
Yeah. The any of those first three rows, a little bit later, there's some staff possibilities are marked in a different color.
Okay.
And I should have said that earlier. I made it clear that like we look at that first row, you can start
Mhm.
with any one of those as a student there.
Okay. So I don't have. Sorry, that was going to be my next question. I don't have to go in order, like voice, shadow. Like I don't have to do
Right.
that in
You
order. I
just have to
can
do
basically
one from
give
the
me.
first. But once you've done one from that first row, you can move down to the second row, or you can do another one from the first row. Here's the other thing I will mention to you. Here's the trick that I'm now going to reveal. Whenever you make a friend in that row, one of the other people becomes a rival for your group.
One of the other people in the same row, or can it be
In the
anywhere?
same row. Yep.
Okay. Okay. I think Nix is going to. Okay, I'm going to shift things a little bit.
Sure, please.
Nix is going to notice that one of the other Akhtar students uh, is spending a lot of time in the casino watching the shadows play.
Okay.
And has been looks like they've been making notes and maybe creating models. And Nix is starting to work with them. And I think their name is Cal, like KAL, or let me make sure I'm not stepping on any of the other NPCs' names. Oh wait, well, yeah, that should be okay. I don't think we've named anybody else that.
Okay.
Um, and Nix is basically trying to develop a relationship with Cal and basically help him work out these models and unlock the shadow of possibility.
Sure. What do you want to roll that with? Is that empathize?
I think so. I think she's basically trying to make a connection with Cal and see if convince him to work with us. So
Okay.
I think my
Roll.
empathize is one
Yeah.
die.
Yeah. That is a 2. So we're going to put 2 ticks on that clock. Essentially 2 out of 4 on that clock towards getting them to become an ally to your group. Mar, what would you like to do for your first downtime action?
I would like to find resources.
Okay.
I think Mar is like, if there's something going on at Malbrect, Mar is worried about Lumi, and like she will try to find out what is wrong and how to help her.
Absolutely. What do you want to roll that with?
I was thinking about like actually following someone from Malbrect and see where it's going, and I
Sure.
was thinking of rolling perceive.
Perfect. 2 dice. So that is a 5. So we'll put 3 ticks on the prep clock. 2, 3. And you have a question from your playbook and a follow-up.
I think the questions in the character keeper are not the ones of the Guardian playbook.
Oh,
I
good to know.
think I think that those are not the Guardian questions.
Oh, okay. Let me.
They sound very weird for Guardian.
Okay, yeah, that's certainly a possibility that they might be wrong. Let me
I
here. I've got the harmony, the guardian. Yeah, yours is what is most dangerous here? Who here is afraid? How can I help? X. Yeah.
yeah, I'm referencing the PDF. I think I'm going to go where how can I help Lumi?
So one of the things you will kind of realize is that there's definitely whatever is going on with these Malbrecti students, they are going out after hours, which is super dangerous, and they're being drawn out at night to somewhere else. And you think that, clearly you need to, as a group, follow them, try to find out where they're going and figure out who is doing that. Does that seem like a fair answer?
Yeah, for sure.
And you get a follow-up.
Thinking what is most dangerous here?
I think that you will see kind of like you've been observing the Malbrecht for a while, and there is a Malbrecht second year who's kind of always been at the back of the classroom, keeps to themselves, keeps quiet, and you're observing them, and they're very much trying to hide it, but they seem different. They seem more composed, more graceful, like more together than they were before. And his name is Phil Kim. And there is a moment when you maybe catch him strutting a little, being a little more composed, and he kind of sees you, and you definitely get a shiver, like a very bad vibe off of him. Does that seem fair? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's come back to Felicity.
Connections.
Okay. Who do you want to make a connection with?
think that it makes sense that I go to see Mar.
Okay.
So I probably, while I was knocking on doors, stumbled over Mar as well. So there's that thing of, I think that it's when you're returning back to the house and Felicity catches up with you. This is Mar. I'm pretty sure they're getting drawn out. And
Yeah.
I wonder if it, well, I don't know if it makes any sense, but maybe it has something to do with Starkball being so exhausted too.
Yeah, like there's something really weird going on with them.
Mm-hmm. What have you seen? Anything particularly weird?
I think they are going somewhere, and I think we should follow them.
Okay, that sounds good. Mrs. Darkpaw called me in and told me that it is unusual that we have not lost people and that there is a certain accounting that has to take place. I don't know if she was threatening me or warning me. I think she was threat warning me. I don't know. I can't decide, but I had the strangest strangest thing when I walked out of the door. It wasn't anything that made sense. That was, I just saw like burning paper. I don't know what it was.
I think we should tread carefully here. I don't want to put us into danger.
Okay. Let's talk to the others. Because I'm with you though. Just tell me what you need me to do. All right, I guess I roll.
So let's kind of go back. So this is, I mean, there are a couple of ways to do the make connections. This is you kind of both of you being teen sleuths together, Nancy drewing it up. And it does seem like Mar is on the same wavelength as you. So you feel like you're in agreement with Felicity there, Mar?
Yeah, totally.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you get an extra die from Mar. What do you want to roll that with, Felicity, to kind of represent this activity?
It's probably perceive.
Okay,
Like for both of us, the perceiving what the both of us are perceived, if that makes any sense. So
sure.
yeah.
So you
Let's start
roll
touch with-
2 dice then.
Okay. Probably the highest roll I have all night. Yeah. Ooh, a 6 and a 5.
6 and a 5.
But it's a 6.
So that means, Mar, you can record that you have 4 links with Felicity.
Oh, and it's with my fated person. And I wonder if I get a link or something. Oh no, that's if I get my very best friend. Okay.
Right. Chihaya, what would you like to do for your second downtime action?
I think I'd like to make a connection with Nyx.
Okay. So where are you going to find Nyx? What is it that you want to do with Nyx to build that connection?
I guess it depends. I think it would be interesting if we're kind of getting a head start on the decor for this big event that's going to happen later. So maybe we're like backstage looking through all the possible decorations and things.
Okay. Chihaya, have you settled on some options for themes?
I I think she's like processing all of the possible options allowed to Nyx as we cut to them. She's like, well, on the one hand, we could do maybe Arabian, but it's a winter solstice thing, isn't it? So, and maybe that's offensive. I don't know. What do you think?
Ooh, she's Nyx is going through another crate, and it's like this endless scarf like some out of some old magic act or something. And it just keeps, finally she just gives up. There's like a 3 foot high pile of scarf sitting next to the box, but there's still scarf coming out of it. Anything we do has a possibility of throwing us off, or throwing them of causing trouble. I think it's not necessarily what you do, it's how you try to do it. And we probably need to get some, if anything we do, we probably want to run it by like a lot of different people to make sure we're not like tripping over something that we don't get. I could ask Paris. I've known her for a long time. She is you know, her folks, her folks were originally from from Jordan, not Arabian, but maybe close. Maybe they could help. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, but I like the idea, because you can do a lot of cool stuff with like with like pavilions and all that sort of like, moonlight over the desert sort of cool imagery like that. And we I mean, one thing we can probably get a lot of easily is sand. So and that's definitely not sticky, so we're not violating any rules. I have just a really deep urge to avoid the sticky question altogether and use tons of glitter, just to mess with the dean. But that may be too much.
I don't know.
But it's there. It's in here. I'm thinking about it.
I appreciate the sentiment, but I really want this to go perfect. I mean, if we're going to be responsible for it, I don't think we can afford to get in any kind of trouble, even if it's just the glitter on the dance floor kind.
Oh. I suppose you're right, but it.
Do you have a date?
Not yet.
I'm not
No,
asking you. I just mean,
not yet. Honestly, since Saul and I are each around only about half the time, it makes it harder to like connect. And honestly, we just found out about this thing like a day ago. So, so I don't know. I really don't know. I have no idea. I mean, the same people I know. Like it's we everybody's a little weird, and like I'm not. We have rivalries, enemies, people working at cross purposes. It's complicated. I'm almost afraid to try and figure that part of it out.
yeah, it's really complicated. And I think she's like, there's a ring that she wears that Corden gave her, and that she's just like spinning on her finger nervously.
Yeah, I mean, we could always, if we really wanted to find out like what the best options were, we could always talk to Felicity.
Like, use her as a matchmaker? Oh, you're talking about the theme.
Well, the theme, but also like she sees things in a way that we don't. So that extra perspective can might be helpful here on figuring out like not just the theme, but also like date possibilities. Like Saul would do this with a chart, and I really don't like charts. So and Felicity seems to be able to get kind of a sense of things much better than any chart of Saul's could give me. So
Yeah.
like if I'm going to have a date, like I think that's the direction. Like I want to go, like, have somebody that has some perspective that that they can share.
I guess I just never pegged her as a romantic.
So, Chihaya, like, what do you feel this sort of interaction with Nyx is about? Is this express, or are you trying to conceal your true intentions? How do you feel about this, like this conversation?
Ooh, let's see. Express, use words with an agenda in mind. I think it, yeah, we can make it express. I
Okay.
think Chaya was like trying to bring up the date thing to like feel out her own conflicts
Uh-huh.
around it.
Yeah.
I don't know if she got anywhere with that, but that was her approach.
Next, you feel like you were kind of enthusiastic about the conversation there. So should we give a die for that?
Well, yeah,
Okay.
Nyx is always up to talking about relationships.
Okay. So Chihaya, roll 2 dice.
Okay. 5.
5. So Soul / Nyx, you will record 3 links with Chihaya. And that does bring us to you, Nyx. What would you like to do for your second downtime action?
Hmm. I am. All right, let me look at this list again. I'm tempted to try and finish out that long-term project
You
because
certainly
I think
could.
that would be super helpful. And it seems like we've already got a lot of direction from the investigate, which is the other thing I would be tempted to do. So
Mhm.
it looks like we've gotten plenty of information to go on for what we might do next. So I'm gonna try and complete that long-term project.
Okay.
This time I think it's Saul that is talking with uh, Cal, and I think after the connection is made, like Saul has that sort of work things into boxes and make a chart of it kind of mentality, and I think that helps sort of iron things the rest of the way out, and maybe like Cal thinks, wow, that this actually works. This is making things better, and maybe that cements the connection.
All right. So what do you want to roll that with?
I think that I'm jumping between sheets on
Sure,
here.
sure.
Hmm, let's see. I think in this instance maybe it's perceived because
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think Saul's point of view here is what matters. Like how he's looking at all these little things that Cal has put together.
And you don't have to roll because we know the minimum that you get is 2 ticks, so we will finish that out. Which means that you have them as an ally. Like what does that look like in terms of the cow kind of feeling like they've become part of your circle?
I think basically um, Cal brings a not a something slightly different. Both Cal and Saul have this sort of like more analytical approach to perceiving things, but I think Cal brings in something that Saul can't really provide, which is uh, kind of a spark of chaos to to
Okay,
the interpretations, right?
I like
Uh,
that.
yeah, Cal is your chaos theory mathematician to Saul's very ordered physicist. Like it's
Yeah.
you know, so
I like that. So which of the other 3 the voice, the yokai, or the auditor is going to become a rival to your group?
Ooh, hmm.
The auditor is the natural choice since it's kind of parallel to the thing. If I may make
Yeah,
that
and I was
suggestion.
and I was leaning towards that one or the yokai just because I would be interested to see who the yokai would be, but the auditor makes more sense, I
Okay.
think.
So the auditor. Uh, so I think that because we've established their name, I think we're going to put Sven in that position of that rival figure who doesn't like uh, you. Um, and I do think that uh, Mar, uh, you will hear that Lumi apparently sort of unexpectedly uh, apparently tried to ask Sven out to the upcoming dance. And like the sense maybe she got kind of led on about that. And he absolutely crushed her in public. Like did that, laugh at her when she gave her confession kind of thing. So now I know you want to destroy him, so we'll just keep that in mind. But it is your second downtime action, Mar.
Hmm. I was thinking of making a connection with Chaya.
Okay.
I think I wanna bring her into this plan for investigating what is going on.
So where do you want to meet up with Chihaya? Is it in one of the rooms? Is it
I I,
in
wa- I was thinking maybe like in the tunnels behind our rooms, and like maybe like in a thing where I show her like an entrance that I think we can use to infiltrate without being seen to wherever the Malbrect students are going.
sure? You good with that, Chihaya?
Yeah, that sounds great.
And Chihaya, what is it like when you're kind of trapped in an enclosed tunnel space very close by Mar? Having just had this conversation about dates at the dance hall.
I think that Chaya is trying her best to seem very focused on the problem at hand. But I almost imagine that, like, since we both have this connection to the void, there's some sort of like physical sensation that we can both kind of feel when we're very near to each other. Maybe just like a weird vibration under our skin.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's very distracting as well.
I like that. So Mar, what are you telling Chihaya?
I think I'm like telling her how I'm worried about particularly Lumi, but like everyone in the Malbrect. And I think we should infiltrate them, and we should like our the Akhtar order motto says we take luck in our hands, and we should do something about it.
Yeah, we might be the only ones who can do something about it.
Yeah, I don't think no one else notices.
Yeah, I heard about your friend Lumi and Sven. Do you think that has anything to do with this? Maybe that's a stupid question. If it is, forget that I even asked.
I heard about that, and and yeah, I I kinda wanna kill him, but we will see about that.
Ty is like nodding very seriously, like as though you're being literal. And maybe Mar is Mar being literal?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I mean, after we stop whatever is happening with all the Malbrect students, if you want to help Lumi get revenge, I don't know if I can kill a guy, but I'll do what I can.
I I I will take you up on that offer.
Anything for you, anytime. Um, because we're good friends.
Mar, what do you want to roll for this connection? It definitely feels like the two of you are together. What do you want to roll for that?
I was thinking defy, like for the tone of the scene about.
Yeah. And it feels, Shahaya, like you are definitely on board with this whole conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So that's 2 dice on Mara.
3.
There's a 3. So Chihaya, you will mark 2 links with Mar. Let's take 5 minutes for our second break. Come back and we're going to do the engagement roll. So we go to the engagement roll. I'm kind of moving a little fast here. We always start with the die for the basic engagement roll. I don't think the next question is particularly heroic or noble. I don't think it's any more than any usual striving here. It is, however, following through on the details that all of you gathered, Mar, Felicity. So let's give another die for that. And then I think we've established that Lumi is in Malbrect. I think we kind of hinted that possible danger. So we give another die for that. So that is going to be 3 dice. Mar, you get to do this first one. And after this, you'll never have to roll an engagement roll again. So roll me 3d6. That is a 6. So you have prepared. And Mar, you suggested that you found a set of the tunnels that could lead you out kind of by where Malbrect is and following along. And I think you'll see in the distance like the last of these Malbrect, and it's some students, and they have changed. They're in kind of a loose like sweat clothes there as you see them. And I think we'll see the group of you shadowing behind them, and they will go a ways off on the island. And you're a little nervous. You are definitely after hours. You're watching for signs to make sure that you don't see the uh, the gosh, hang on, I'm sorry. First time, the shifting quicks, the bit of land that moves around. You're kind of watching, keeping an eye on that, or for the promising one. But you will go a ways through, again, weird terrain, weird weather here. I think there's a bit where you go through like a fog bank. Because we describe the weather is changing around here. And you will come to a place where you'll see that there is a natural like forest clearing that has old stone on the floor. Like maybe there was an old temple or something here. And the moonlight comes very clear down here into this place. And you will see the Malbrect students there, and they are lined up. And you will see that young man from Malbrect, Phil Kim, standing on a stone, and there are a pair of spectral figures off to either side of him that are kind of floating there, and he's got this book that's also floating. I think also, surprising, you see the Malbrect students there, you will see Mrs. Darkbow, who is also dressed in sweat clothes, and has not done her hair up. So it's pretty much like a Cousin It kind of mane of hair coming down. But you will see Phil Kim consult this book, and you'll see him start to move, and you will see all the Malbrect students start to move in sequence, and you will see him essentially start to do this magic, and he is making them all dance. And you will see you can feel he is doing this for some kind of magical invocation. So Mar, you see him essentially creating a big Bollywood musical dance number against their wishes, and doing this motion magic here. What do you want to do?
I like want to try to find Lumi and like take it away from this.
Okay, absolutely. So are you kind of sneaking in, or what is it you want to do here? Are you using your magic to do it? If you transcend, then you get your transcendence dots, and you can kind of use your big magic to do this. Or you can be a little more sneaky about it, or cautious or careful. What do you want? What do you want to do for the action here?
I think I don't wanna transcend yet, just yet.
Okay.
I think I wanna like I'm thinking like still observe and like just like take her away. So
Perceive.
yeah, sure,
Okay.
that will work.
Essentially to try and spot an opening and
Yeah.
grab her. Okay. So let's have you roll 2 dice. This feels, by the way, so as a Force in Dark, it is risky standard. Actually controlled for this first round because you came in with that 6.
That's a 3.
That is a 3. So I think that you will get up close, but she's far enough in the dance line that you can't get at her. And I think the potential consequence here is only that you're going to be spotted. And you can resist that consequence if you wish.
Yeah, I think I would like to resist that.
Okay. Then roll me a d6 because all of your attributes are equal.
Yeah. Does this counts as trying to protect an ally?
Yeah, I like
or
that.
my watchful
Yeah,
for
perfect.
+1 die?
Yeah, give yourself 2 dice for the resist.
Well, it didn't matter a lot.
So 5 stress. So I think it is that you do it like you end up having to dive behind something to stay out of line of sight. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, for sure.
And they're still dancing, and they're going faster and faster, and you can see that the energy that they're expending to do this, you can see it kind of flowing towards Kim and that magic book in the spectral forms. Chihaya, what do you want to do?
I don't quite know how transcendence works exactly, but I think I do want to.
Okay, so basically transcendence, it means that rather than doing your little I cast light or I light fire, drawing on your magic, which means that you can describe your actions as having big magic effects, and you get to use your dots in your transcendent stats.
Fantastic. Um, yeah. So my transcendence ability is at the moment I transcend, I may choose to immediately disappear and may reappear at any time in the place
Okay.
of my choosing.
Yeah. So no one knows where you went. Where was Chihaya? She was with us just a minute ago.
Yeah. I think maybe we as the audience, but not uh the player characters, saw like what looked like a sort of physical shadow kind of creep up on Chihaya from behind and sort of overtake her, so such that it looked like she was kind of pulled into the shadows by this unseen force.
Perfect. And so then what does Midnight want to do?
I think you said that Phil Kim is up on this like platform in front of everyone, right?
Yeah, there's a flat stone that he's standing on. He's got that book floating there. He's got a couple of spectral figures on either side of him.
Yeah, I think we see this shadow sort of forming from the bottom up behind Phil. It's, at least a head taller than him, and when it sort of resolves, it looks kind of like a spectral form made of like dripping candle wax almost, with these long waxen claws. Um, I don't know if you've played the video game Bayonetta, but I'm
Oh yeah.
picturing
Oh
like
yeah.
that's the sort of physique that we're working with here.
Okay. So what is it you want to do, and what action do you want to roll that with?
Um, I want to pick him up in one clawed hand and uh toss him to the side, interrupting his ritual.
Okay. So maybe defy?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Uh, so this is still controls. It's first action for everybody in this round before he's noticed anything. Standard effect because you are transcended.
Excellent. 4.
That is a 4. So I do think that you will grab him and toss him off, interrupting his process. Uh, uh, Mostly breaking him, kind of drawing the energy from them. He'll go, when you throw him, he lands remarkably light on his feet with a strange and supernatural grace, but you've kind of broken that chain. I do think that the consequence is that uh, uh, one of these spectral forms is going to turn and grab to get a hold of you, to hold you in position. Now you can resist that if you wish.
Yeah, I'll resist it.
Okay. Maybe resist with stars. It feels like a physical thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think I'm rolling with 3 dice.
2 dice, right? Stars is
Oh, does my transcendence
the transcendence doesn't count towards the attributes there.
got it. That is good to know. 5.
5. So you'll just take one stress. How do you evade this? Like, what do we see on screen?
I think we see Midnight's eyes alight with like these 2 little flames. Um, and with this otherworldly grace, she dodges the spectral form that tried to grab at her. And she goes, "Oh, no, no. You didn't check the time, did you? It's
Nice.
just about midnight."
Oh, very nice. And I think we see this form now that you're close. You can see they look a little bit like the Scott Pilgrim spectral dancers from the Patel sequence. Kind of one of them goes to grab and misses on you. Felicity.
Yeah, let's see here. So what I'm really good at is setting up other people.
Okay.
So I am going to transcend.
Okay.
And use my perceive. And I think it's Saul that would be, or Nyx that would be going next. Yes.
Yeah. And
Uh,
it'll go on everybody's next action when you do a setup.
right. Okay. So essentially what it is I want to discern, if I roll well, what I've done is I've discerned a weakness of the actual spell book itself. So that we can act on that because
Okay.
it's clearly part of what's running the show here. Okay.
So that's 2 dice for perceive,
Yes.
a third die, because of your special ability.
Okay.
So roll me 3 dice.
Oh gosh. There it goes, 5.
So that is a 5. So I think the let's see, what would be a reasonable consequence for control position on this? I think that you move closer to like see the book.
Mhm.
And I think that you will realize that, as you're kind of watching and you're kind of seeing that this book is definitely an old spell book from one of those lost, forbidden schools of magic that we were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And and I think though the consequence is that even as you're doing that, as you're concentrating, as you're telling people where to go, I think you'll find that you're kind of starting to move along with whatever invisible beat, whatever song is happening there. You'll find yourself starting to move with the motion there.
Kind of funny. I don't have much, oh, yeah, let's go with that. It's a little foolish looking, but I
Yes,
think I
yes,
can
you
go with
look
being a little bit goofy.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm
you look
just a
less
seer.
dignified than you hope. What does it look like? We know what shadow looked like, or midnight did look like when they transcended. What does it look like when you transcend? Any different?
Oh, she has an after image as she moves, you see, and the thing is that her after images and after a while you realize that there's like a pre-image too, where they're all trying different things.
Okay.
Like, does that make any sense? And
Absolutely.
then reporting back to the
Uh,
reality.
yeah.
So that's kind of what you've got is like all of these sort of spectral felicities doing things.
And illuminating the book,
Mhm.
kind of pointing it. Nyx, what do we see you doing?
Feel like I can't break the trend. I'm gonna have to try and transcend.
Okay.
I think what Nyx is going to try and do is she is going to try and break the connection between the Malbrect dancers that are grouped in that group,
Uh-huh.
and the book.
Okay. Yeah, that
and
feels like a perfect thing to do.
Yeah, uses my setup.
and-
So
yeah. So now when Nyx transcends, they become Equinox,
Okay.
and um, this is kind of a Steven Universe merger effect. Like
Mhm.
the Equinox form is big,
Okay.
like twice as tall, and like giant. So when they transcend, it's like between one step and another, and then there's this huge shining crystal person there. Half of the crystal person is this bright sunshine, like bright yellow light, and the other half is this moonlight, like white silver kind of illumination. Both bright, really hard to look at, and hard to track where like maybe Saul / Nyx end or begin. Like so, you see like the half and half thing stays straight most of the time, but
Mhm.
it shifts, adding to the difficulty of getting a good look at Equinox.
So what magic are you using? What are you doing to break this connection?
Well, I am the harmony, so I think I'm going to use that to basically create a counter harmony
Okay.
to disrupt what the book is doing. So
Does that feel like defy or empathize?
I mean, it could be both. I think defy might be a little bit more appropriate
Sure,
given that she's going against it, um,
absolutely.
and not
Now,
trying to jive with it.
yeah. Now, if you want, you can push yourself, spend 2 stress and get yourself another die if you want.
I think I may do that.
Okay.
And the setup gives me +1 die. Is that right?
Nope,
Or
it's
plus
going to
one
give you
effect.
it's going to give you greater effect. So it's actually
Ooh,
going to be able to potentially, if you do well, free all the Malbrect.
okay. But yeah, I'll definitely push myself here.
Okay.
There we go. Mark 2 stress. And that will give me 2 dice. Oh,
So I think you will reach out to do that counter melody. And like as you kind of push on that, the book kind of explodes in sound and turns up the volume and washes out over you. So it's not going to work. And I think that, in fact, and this is the possible consequence you can resist, that some of the Malbrecti are going to essentially uh, pull you into their dance.
while I almost would like to see that with the giant effect, I don't think I want to let that happen just yet.
Okay.
So I will try and resist that. And
I would say that's probably Sun.
yeah, I think that's right. So that'd be 1 die. Let me subtract 1 of my 2 dice here.
So that is a 4. So 2 stress. Mar. So you will see Midnight appear, kind of tosses Phil Kim off to the side. One of the spectral figures is going after Midnight. The other one is kind of moving over. You see Felicity kind of pointing and illuminating the book. Equinox moves up to try and stop, and it just gets drowned out. So the Malbrect are still doing their dance. So what do you want to do? You are still, because you kept yourself concealed, you are still in a controlled position.
I think I want to transcend now,
Okay.
and I was thinking like, maybe when Mars transcend, like there's like an aspect of the void that takes over like around her. So like some sort of like sea quality, like a dark sea that start to emerge and
Mm-hmm.
flow from her. And like I want to like use that in a way to counter of like this sound that you described, that this music, like maybe like drawn out the sound with like this big wave of like more stillness.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. It feels like Defy.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was thinking exactly that.
Um, do you want a devil's bargain
Oh,
or
I
a
would love that.
poison promise? I think the poison promise is that controlled Lumi is going to come running at you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so your friend under the control of this dance comes running at you even as you're doing this. Uh, so
And I had to 1 die.
so 3 dice.
I just rolled 2 first. Well, it's
Okay,
all fours. So
4th. Okay. So you have the great effect. So we will see you push that defy. So the lesser effectively that. So here's what I'm offering you as the consequence that you have to resist is that you will drown out the sound by that main area, and you'll see the Malbrect that we're still dancing kind of shake and lose stuff, but Lumi is kind of out of that effect and is still under control and will come at you. And that'll be the consequence, and you can resist that if you wish.
I don't know if I want to resist it, to be
If
honest. That sounds
okay,
too fun.
yeah. So
Well-
she is up and has grabbed onto you and is kind of pulling you in this weird, unnatural dance right now.
Okay, and Bill, I'm going to ask a question.
Absolutely.
Mar has links with Felicity. Can they spend one of those links to help them, like on that?
When
Like
you go,
to get rid of stress or whatever?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
they could do that, like for themselves, right?
they could spend
So-
it to recover for themselves. Yes.
Yeah, so if
Okay.
you are getting low on stress, Mar, you can spend one of your links with me to give yourself back to stress. So,
Midnight. You've thrown Phil, you've got the specter on you, you see the actual sort of dance magic get drowned out by, and it feels good to you, the void getting summoned into this area.
What is Phil Kim doing in the midst of all this?
He is essentially moving back to like get at the book now.
I think Midnight's going to kind of lunge toward him to keep him away from the book.
Absolutely. So risky standard to kind of come out and do that. What do you want to roll that sort of pushing him back, getting him out of the way?
I think it's probably, let's see. Do you think it's defy or flow? I could see.
Either one sounds good to me. I think defy like thematically sounds more right here.
Yeah, then that's what I'll roll then.
Okay. 2 dice. Soul has offered you, if you do you want to Soul to mark a link and give you another die?
Oh, sure.
Okay. So roll 3 dice. That is a 6. So he is fast. Like this, whatever this is some kind of dance and motion magic, and he is faster and more graceful. But you are in your midnight form. You move and push him back and shift and change. What does that look like?
I think Midnight does approach him with sort of like a dancer's posture. And when she grabs at him, she pulls him into like a kind of tango position kind of
Okay.
thing. Yeah, and she just says, where are you going, Phil? Let's dance. And she's gonna keep him busy.
Absolutely. He desperately is trying to take the lead, but you have control of that. Felicity, you see Midnight dancing with Phil. You see Mar has broken the control, but is dealing with a still controlled Lumi. The book is up there. Those 2 spectral figures are now moving to engage, since all of you have become clear threat.
yes. And I think I look at Equinox and I'm like, okay. And I'm probably gonna set them up again. And
Okay.
essentially what it is that I am literally how should we say? I am predicting how they're going to move, and I'm pushing the book perpetually out of the reach, just barely, because it's using all of my energy to do it, out
Okay.
of the reach of the spectral forms. So if that makes any sense.
So this also feels like defy.
Yeah, I think that could be true.
Okay.
Sure.
And another +1.
Okay. So, okay,
So 3 dice.
I got a 6.
So that is a 6. So you absolutely are pushing the book. The spectral figures are trying to get a hold of it, but they're not having any luck. You're kind of using the magic to pull and move and twist it. Equinox.
Okay, so Felicity is basically preventing the spectral forms from getting a hold of the book again.
Yeah, kind of pushing it towards you to give you a shot at it.
Has the book remained open this whole time?
Yes.
Okay. Do I get the sense that if I could somehow close it, it might put a stop to things?
Oh, you think
Or
more you need to destroy this book.
okay. All right, so it needs to go that far. All right. So let's see. I think what Equinox Equinox tried to deharmonize things the last time, and that did not work. So she's pretty sure she can't match whatever the inaudible music of the spheres or whatever is going on here. They can't match that. But I think she's going to try and push her awareness out to see basically what's keeping this book together and attempt to basically sever whatever is linking this book with this magic.
Okay.
Whatever is linking the book with Phil, with those two spectral figures. Find that link and pop it.
Okay. So that feels like you're describing it as perceive. So 2 dice.
Okay.
So that is a 4. So I do think you will stretch out your awareness and kind of see those currents of magic. And you've got that power of harmony, and you can kind of start untwisting that and break that away to neutralize this book's effect. But I do think there is going to be a flashback of power because you do have to connect to the book itself to do this, and you're going to take a level 1 harm, which you may resist if you wish.
I will attempt to resist it.
Okay. What do you think that resist feels like?
Since I'm presuming it's going along this line of my perception,
Yeah.
I would think maybe it would be Moon.
That seems fair. Roll me
I'm
2
trying to
dice.
maintain my mental clarity and not get caught up in the book's influence.
Absolutely.
So that'd be 2. Ooh,
That
that's a lot.
is 5 stress. Now you can immediately after this spend a link to reduce your stress, but right now you need to roll me a d6 for eclipse. Oof. So you are going into eclipse. So you cannot spend. So right now you are in eclipse. So we do mark that eclipse box. Read us the when you eclipse and when you escape eclipse.
Okay. You are fractured. A sour note has shattered your harmony, and now there is uncertainty and conflict. Your relationship, once a source of strength, is suddenly tenuous. You are divided, and a difference of opinions keeps you separated. So I think what's going to happen is basically that crystal being basically shatters, and Saul and Nyx tumble out in different directions.
Okay. And probably the first time any of you have seen them in the same place. And probably both of them looking a little smaller than even they do in their regular form here. Let's come back to Mar. Mar, the book is down. Phil is still using the last of his power to dance with Midnight, and Yumi is still trying to get at you, potentially harming you, potentially harming herself.
I think I like grab onto her and like said, like, please, Lumi, wake up. And like I think Mara is kind of losing it, and the sea of magic around her is like becoming agitated.
Absolutely. What do you want to roll to try and break her out of this?
And I was thinking the 5, but
Yeah, that seems fair. You're trying to facing down with this thing.
okay, so 2 die. Not great rods.
That is great. So I think you are do kind of grab onto Lumi. I think you've got all this void swirling around you. And I think you have some control of it, but not the best control. And I think that the void goes into to Lumi, and she will cry out in pain.
I have to
There.
resist that.
Okay. Before you roll resist, do you want to spend any links to reduce your stress?
And I was thinking I am okay mostly because of my transcendent ability, but
Oh yeah, that's right. You are good. So roll with sun.
sun is 1. Do you think this counts still as trying to protect an ally,
Oh,
or
what?
we are going away from that?
100%.
So 2 die.
So just to stress, how do you stop that void from doing that?
I think like it tries to start to get into Lumi, and like I kind of start like tearing up and breaking up, and I said, no, please not her, not now. And like it recedes slowly and like goes away and tries to calm down.
And I think you'll see Lumi will kind of at this kind of not hurt, but does pass out from the stress of this. And I think for a second behind her, as you see her kind of fall unconscious in your arms, you briefly see Stella Yang there, like something about the void flickered her back into your mind, and then that's gone. Chihaya, the book is down. Malbrect people have kind of collapsed to the stones. Phil still has using the last of his power to try and break away from you to get at the book. What do you want to do?
I think I'd rather get my hands on that book instead.
Okay. You want to try and grab it and finish it off?
Yeah, I would like to do that.
Okay.
What? Sorry, I'm still learning what each of the.
Absolutely.
It seems like to move more quickly than him.
Yeah,
It would be flow
that seems
this
right.
time. Okay, we can
Uh,
do that. Am I at risky? What
I think
position of
you're at
effect am I
risky
at?
standard. Um, do you Nix, do you want to spend another link? No, Nix can give you another die.
Amazing. Right, 2 dice sounds okay. The two.
Ouch.
So I think you are going to go to get at the book, and I think you don't get the book, but I think the other thing is that Phil does hold onto your arm and twist it behind you, with powerful, great dancer's grace and force, and pop your shoulder. Like you'll feel that give, and you will mark a level 1 harm.
And
I think
this,
I will probably resist to
Okay.
avoid taking the harm.
All right. So that feels like stars for resist.
Sure. Yeah.
Look at you. Tries to pull behind you, doesn't quite get it. You're able to draw out of his arms, but you haven't gotten a hold of the book. He is still up. Felicity, uh, you see that Equinox does not look in great shape. Mar is cradling Yumi. The book is still up.
yeah, the good thing is that because I'm just a seer, everyone always forgets that I'm kind of there. If so, I think that I'm going to try to intercede, if that
Okay.
makes any sense. And I have no bonuses for that. So
What are you doing? What do you want to roll that with?
that's a good question. Let's see here. Sorry.
Defy seems reasonable.
Yeah, it is what I'm doing. And I think that's it. It's almost this kind of like he's done that to Jahia, and I think it's that thing of me and my many arms, my many selves, kind of in move. I move up and I grab that book, and I remember seeing the fire burning as I left the door.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it. Is I have other magics, little ones, those kinds of things. Mostly I'm a seer, but I cast a little fire spell. So I think I'm going to grab it so I have control of it and try to cast the fire to it,
Okay.
if that makes any sense.
So that's 2 dice, unless you'd like to push yourself. Or
I
unless
don't
somebody
have
wants
any.
to, unless somebody wants to spend a link to help Felicity.
Yeah, I was thinking of like if you want, I can send a link so
Okay.
you
I'm
have
sure
one
that would
extra
be.
die.
Yeah, so extra die would be helpful.
3 dice.
might gives me a decent chance. Of course, it's me rolling, so okay. A 6.
6. And
I am transcendent.
exactly like in your vision, you will let loose that fire spell and you will see those papers, those pages burning there. And I think that like midnight, you'll feel Phil Kim just collapse as that magic gets burned out. And he goes crashing down to the stones, and we've just got a courtyard full of unconscious students and one teacher. And midnight, how do you vanish out of here?
Well, it looks like my time is up. And she just sort of melts back into the shadows, and soon after, Chaya is like spit back out into the courtyard.
And Nyx, like, do you think you stay separated, or do you shift back? I mean, you're still going to be an eclipse, but what do we see?
I think they stay separated at this point.
Okay.
Both of them glaring at midnight as she fades to black. But like that's they're both there. They glare at that, and then they glare at each other.
All right. So we're going to stop here. Next time we'll kind of start with some of the fallout from this and that we're going to do the XP questions though to give people the XP. And we will have a chance to kind of talk about what this looks in the aftermath of this, how you get the students back in that before we talk about the dance and all of that stuff. But let's go through and we'll look at the series sheet. Carried out a mission. Definitely struggled with personal lives and relationships. We have definitely added a couple of those. We'll give you 2 ticks on that. Explored the secrets of the school. Yes. And I think we're starting to get a sense of the group's nature. So I'll give another point. So we'll give 5 ticks on the series XP. Mar, let's look at your XP questions. Did you address challenge with mystery or ostentatious action?
I think that is also a role, and that is the enigma question.
Oh, is that? Jeez.
It sounds very enigma-like and not
Yeah, no,
like
I
the
think
Guardian
you're
at all.
absolutely right. We will get that fixed. Let me pull up in the book. Let me see. You might have the sheet more available than I do.
I was looking at a challenge with compassion or honest. No, that's unlucky here. Sorry. A challenge with kindness or self-sacrifice.
Yeah, that feels
Yeah.
like a couple of times.
Yeah.
So let's give you 2 for that. What's the express your beliefs, drives, role, or background? What do you think?
Belief drives. I'm looking at the.
I think the whole trying to defend somebody and failing definitely fits with some of your feelings there. And the background of the void. So let's give you 2 points on that one.
Nice.
And again, you can put these points towards playbook. You can put them towards stats. It's up to you how you want to assign those. You don't have to do that now. Do you think you struggle with issues from your promises or your obligations?
I think I kind of felt responsible, but I have to like keep watch over everyone, but I
Yeah.
don't know if
Let's give you a
I
point for
struggle.
that. Did you embody your eclipse or display the contents of your heart? You don't necessarily have to be in eclipse to embody it.
I don't know. I'm reading my eclipse. I don't think this one like
I'm going to
applies to
give
my
you the
sheet.
contents of your heart for all of the work that you did just to save your friend in this. Like you focused on that. So we'll give you a point for that.
Nice.
Let's
I
go.
also had the XP trigger for my code. I think I'm not sure, but I think I
You didn't do violence. It didn't lie. It didn't ask for help. Yeah, I give you a point for that. Harmony. Did you address a challenge with understanding or coordination?
Yes, both Saul and Nyx worked with Cal to build him up as an ally.
Yeah. And you worked with in the mission with the setup to action. So let's give you 2 for that. Did you express your beliefs, drives, role, or background?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, we'll give you a point for that. Did you struggle with issues from your promises or obligations?
I'm not sure if struggle was the right word, but I did like confront like their distrust of their distrust of Midnight
Yeah.
and also Nyx's belief that Felicity has the answers.
Okay. Yeah, let's give you 2 points for that. And you did embody your eclipse. So we'll give you another point for that. Felicity.
Mhm. Let's see here. So addressed a challenge with foresight or revelation. Gosh, I really did, didn't I? With
Yeah.
the burning paper. Okay, so
2 XP.
invent. Okay. Express my beliefs, drives, role, or background. I think like definitely want to get us all out of here, but I'm also like, very nice and I'm
Yeah.
a good girl. So there you go.
Yeah, let's give you a point for that. I think definitely addressing that teacher, despite the risk, was a thing for that. Did you struggle with your issues from your promises or obligation?
Promises and obligations. Let's see here. Definitely. Let's see here. Well, had a hard time with Soul and Nyx. I know that there's things, so we're having like a sort of the setups didn't work the way that I hoped they would
Okay.
be. So
You
that
get
will
a
be
point for that.
Yeah.
Embodied your eclipse or displayed the contents of your heart?
I think definitely contents of my heart in the sense of that we're gonna get out of here and I'm gonna do whatever I have to.
Okay.
So
Give you a point.
thanks.
And our enigma. Address a challenge with mystery or ostentatious action.
Tango.
Yeah. Chihaya, let's give you a couple points for that, I think.
Yeah.
Did you express your beliefs, drives, role, or background?
I think so, especially kind of exploring her family and their connection to the
Oh
school.
yeah. Yeah, give you a point for that. Did you struggle with issues from your promises or obligation?
Yeah, it wasn't too overt, I think, but I think the subtext of her discussion with Nyx was that she's worried about the dance because she's not that excited about
Absolutely.
going with Corden.
I think both of those, I think 2 points. You touched on both of those. Embody your eclipse or display the contents of your heart? At least the latter, I think.
Yeah, I didn't embody my eclipse at all, but
Okay.
share the latter.
Yeah. Okay. I would like to do a quick stars and wishes, things you liked, and things you want to see definitely for your character. Now we've had a chance to kind of do a little bit of active play, to see. Marmara, can I start with you for stars wishes?
Yeah, I really like this session. It was pretty fun. I like what we set up. Um, I like the NPCs being so present. Like a lot of things sort around NPCs, and I think that's very fun. For and like I don't know. I like the part where we did like this detective work and how it ended up. Like it felt very on Chandra, and I like that a lot. I also like a lot of the descriptions and a lot of the role play. I think it's going in a nice way. I love how creepy and disturbing null-proof headmaster sounds. It kind of I want to know what's up with him.
Okay.
And like for wishes, I'm not so sure. I don't know. For now, I would like to keep going as is.
Okay.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it's fair to say more of the same.
Yeah, more of
Yeah.
the same.
Okay. And Saul, Nyx?
Oh, first off, I love the Midnight Transcendent scene. I thought that was great. Uh, so definite stars on that. I really enjoyed how the characters are interacting with each other and working together. And I'm interested to see like where that all is going. And I really enjoyed like the evil dance.
Hmm.
Like that was a lot of fun. And that I think that felt very on genre for the game. So
Okay.
I definitely appreciated that. Wishes, uh, more I can't wait to have more time to do some character interactions, and I can't wait to see what happens with Sol and Nyx arguing with each other and how that's going to get resolved.
Okay. Excellent. Felicity.
Um, I really enjoyed this. I love how Chahaya is smooth and like pristine in that really wealthy way and all those things, and how uh like kind of scary certain that Midnight is. It's like it's not like they're different, like night and day kind of thing. It's that they're two different versions of the very certain, very secure person, but in a very different way. Oh, it was the tango was masterful. The whole thing was really good description. Loved it. I love Soul and Nyx in their harmony and that sort of awkwardness of like in your teenage years being blended with someone else, and that your transcendence is a giant form where the two of you are brought together. That's just like it's so crazy and wondrous. I definitely rooting for the two of them. I don't know if I want the two of them to have their own separate selves, or if there's like the great and peaceable. I just it's so confusing. I don't know what I want for them, but I want something good for them. And Mar's a marshmallow, and and a very capable marshmallow, but definitely all heart and all yeah, just yeah, the best guardian. Tough herself, but definitely trying to take care of everyone. It was really good stuff. It was very good. The NPCs were excellent. You need to find a picture for Headmaster Null Proof.
Yep.
He and his complete mask. Yes, and agenda item gets Sven. That's I think what we got. So
Okay.
but yeah, I would love to have a few minutes to figure out what we're gonna do with the dance.
Okay.
So
Excellent. And Chahaya.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the make a connection scenes in particular, both the ones that I got to participate in and the ones that I was just an audience member for. I thought it was really fun to see how these characters interact, especially given how like I feel like the playbooks in this game are very weird, like in a
Yes.
positive way. So it was like really interesting to see like how those like the weird baseline of the playbook still translated into these very grounded in a way characters that are relatable still. Um I thought all of the descriptions of the transcendent forms were super cool, and I loved how they reflected the core of the characters. Um I really enjoyed how the contours of the final mission kind of built up organically over the session, and I agree that it's totally in genre for the weird magical stuff we're dealing with to somehow directly mirror the stuff the protagonists are worried about in their personal lives. It's like perfect. Um, for wishes, I want to get revenge on Sven.
Okay.
That's
Uh,
it.
Absolutely. We'll underline that. Awesome. Thank you all so much. I'm going to stop the recording.